Hi YouTube. I know I've been promising for ages and ages that I'm going to be doing a garden update, and I have tried. I tried over the summer. I've had a lot of problems with my internet connection, and it's just been really slow. It is an issue I'm having to try and sort out, and so I've managed to miss quite a lot of the summer and all the wonderful garden produce. I have got some footage that I will try and compile and give you an update as soon as I can. So behind me here I have a new fence that we've built this summer. Well, the posts were put in last year for the campsite, and we put in this white tape as just a kind of a barrier to show the difference between where the farm was on this side of the land and the campsite, which is the other side of this shade net. Now, this fence, since this year we've put on this shade net, and this fence has been an absolute boon. We are so pleased with this because it is keeping our pigs into the farm and out of the campsite. Now, this was an idea that came to me from a chap who bought a couple of boars off me a couple of years ago, and he works on a big country estate here in Cornwall, and he's the manager of the livestock there. And he posted on a local pig group showing his pigs regenerating woodland on the estate, and he had them in this kind of setup with this shade net, and I was just like, wow, amazing, what a brilliant idea. So I decided to give it a go. Now, how this works is you've got your electric energizer here, and you connect it up with the electric lines, and this shade net, being a sort of a heavy plastic fabric, means that it doesn't conduct electricity. And pigs, or particularly mine pigs anyway, with the big floppy ears, can't see very well, so they struggle to see the electric lines, and as a consequence they tend to just walk straight into them, and then when they get electrocuted, when they get the electric shock, they just barge straight through and snap the line, and then they're in the other side of where you don't want them to be, and then they don't want to come back because they're scared of the electric line. And so just having a line of wire doesn't always work. I think some people have more success with this than others. I mean, all my pigs know what an electric shock is, and they don't like it, but pigs are very tempted to test the line regularly, and they sort of forget, and they just sort of bumble into it or whatever, or they're just busy rooting around and they found a nice worm, and they're sort of so engrossed in what they're doing because they're so food motivated that they forget that there's a line there, and the next minute they've touched it, and they tend to just sort of jump forward rather than back. Now, having the shade net here makes a very definite barrier. They can see it very clearly. I mean, they can see through to the other side, but they know it's a barrier. They know they can see the electric line, and they just leave it alone. And this has just worked brilliantly. I mean, we've used a lot of stock fence in this country. We have in the agriculture stores. We just have stock fence for sheep. It's stock wire on a roll, and you roll it out. Now, wire conducts with wire, so that means that when the pigs knock it, they knock it into the wire and it shorts it out. And you know, we just have all sorts of problems. So now we've seemed to have created a system where we can do large lines of fence and, you know, potentially fence acres of land and keep our pigs where we want them to be. So if I can step back a bit here, you can see the line. Tell you what, I'll turn the camera around. So yep, here is the line all the way along, right round there, and the other side is the campsite, or when it's not a campsite, it's going to be grazed by cows. So, and then all the way along this way, right the way down and round. So when I set up this line, I set it down very low. You can see this is the lowest point here, so it's very low to the ground. The reason being we had a lot of little piglets, and they, you know, they're quite a bit, their noses are quite a lot lower to the ground. So we had to put our fence insulators quite low, and consequently the grass has all grown up. So it's very important to maintain by strimming back the grass on a regular basis. So what I'm doing today is I'm moving the line up a few notches, because it's going to be winter now and we're going to get plenty of growth. Now we've still got plenty of sunshine at the moment, and the grass will be growing pretty well. It's already grown a lot, and it's growing up over the electric line, which compromises the flow of energy. And this line does a really long area. It's actually, as well as doing electrifying this fence here, it's also electrifying another area where the pigs actually are now, and it's running a long way. So I'm currently strimming along this line and raising all the lower level insulators up a notch, so that I don't have to come around too often and strim underneath. So here I am at the other end of my pig line, and the wire stretches all the way from the other fence, way off onto the horizon behind me, and it stretches along these line of posts from that line, which this is going to be again another line of shade netting, so this will create another fenced area. So we've got various different paddock areas or field areas that we can put our pigs into now, but at the moment I've just put this line up high here so that I don't have to cut the grass, stretched it all along here to this end, where you can see it meets the fence here and stretches down. It goes along the top of this wire so that they don't jump over the wire, and then it stretches along. Now, this particular piece of land is quite difficult to get posts into. We've had to work quite hard. This is a kind of a gravelly scree, granite scree, and so it's like a kind of, you know, there's a water, a boggy water area just there, and I'll just turn the camera around and you can see the pigs. So they've so as you can see along that line, we've kind of managed to cordon off. We can see where the old fence line was behind, and we've managed to fence this area with the shade net. And create an entrance. So they've still got their old area where their pens are, but they've got all this new area now, because they were swimming out of this area, their original area, and they just kept swimming out, and we've tried and tried to fence it, and it's just, you know, been an ongoing problem really, because it is you know, on the edge of a ditch. We've got these panels here, and so we've sort of put posts up to here, and then we've got panels all the way along. I've got the wire so far, and then they're just hemmed in here, and then they've got a little gateway, which we've just opened the gate and they can go in and out. So they're all here now. Because I'm here, they think they might be getting fed, so they're all going in and filing their way in. And yeah, so far so good. It's working really, really well. So here you can see the line from this side. Here's the oh, I can't really see the electric line. There's the electric line all the way along, and you can see here that this net is touching the line, but it's not going to short it out because of this nylon-y plastic material. This is going to revolutionise my farm and my ability to free-range pigs and have happy, healthy pigs for the future. So far we've had them in here for 2 weeks with no problems at all. So behind me is the area that we fenced up to. And we fenced up to this dead tree that's behind us and couldn't go any further because of the dead tree. And they quickly just made their way around the dead tree and ate their way out the other side. So we had pigs out all summer, but that problem is now resolved. I mean, I think it's difficult to see from here, and but you can see from the other side of the tree there, and they've just been swimming across this ditched area, and of course it's just no problem for them at all. They love a bit of a dip, pigs. So we've just extended this area now all the way around what has been pretty much a problem piece of land, pretty much unusable for anything. It's just got this big dry ditched area that only fills up in the winter, and it's been pretty much impenetrable, and already within the 2 to 3 weeks that they've been in here, they've completely managed to smash all these reeds down, which they love as well. They just love, they make nests in here. Here's the ditch, and this is, I'm standing in the ditch now under this tree, and it just stretches all the way along there. This is the other line of this fenced area. It's about 20 pigs in here, all of differing sizes and ages. So this is where the ditch starts, and you can see they've trodden all of this down as well. So there's lots of little wading birds in here. And this is the other end of the fenced area. Oh look, that's no good. It's a thistle. Let me try and pull it out without spiking my fingers.